Hello and welcome to another episode of the Becoming Rich podcast. I'm your host, Rachel Monica. Damn, you guys. Okay, I feel like it's been a while since I've recorded a podcast episode. I'm so excited about this one. As you can see, if you're on YouTube, you can see that there's a change in the scenery. If you're just listening, then it's all going to be the same. Except it's not going to be the same because I feel like I'm different. So I don't know. I feel like maybe I'm just going to be different every single episode, to be honest, because I just feel like I'm like shifting so freaking quickly. Damn. Okay. And I'm sure that you probably resonate and feel that way too. I feel like when you're on this path of self development, you literally change from moment to moment, like week to week, day to day, like different person. But, anyways, we change the scenery. I feel like as much as I loved the space that I was in when I was recording, like I loved the area. I felt like the brightness was really amazing. Like the lighting that was in there was just great. And I liked that it was a whole separate space, like a studio. I'm like, okay, but the effort to have to like go up there and like bring my plant up there, like I would literally drag my plant all the way upstairs to that room, and it was just like this whole fiasco. So if I want to show up consistently, then I think the best thing is for me to find a space in my home, which is what I did. This is my couch, and it's like so comfy cozy. Like we're chilling. The other couch was comfy cozy too, but yeah. And then I literally, as I'm noticing right now as we're like recording, why do I feel like the way that I'm even speaking, it's flowing through me so much easier? Okay. Anyways, so let's get into this episode. I just wanted to give you an update if you're watching that you kind of understand what is happening and why we're in different locations. I think this is what's going to be the vibes for now on. Like I can feel it. Oh my God. Okay. This episode, I'm like very, very hyped, but this episode is, for me, it's very exciting, but it is still a very heavy topic. I think that grief is such a touchy subject because so many of us process things differently, and this could be hard to hear. And when I'm talking about grief, I'm not just talking about the pain of losing someone, as in death. This could be any kind of transition, even a breakup, a loss, any kind of a loss of a job, like anything like that. And it's just kind of, we're going to be diving into being able to look at it from a place of gratitude and not holding on to these things as if there's something that are bringing us down or stopping us from our highest potential. Because for me, grief has actually become one of the greatest catalysts in my life. And it's such a weird thing to say, but it's the truth for me. I lost my mom at the age of 7. Okay. That has shaped me over the years, and I have been able to transmute that pain and evolve it into a form of gratitude. So that's what I'm basically going to be sharing. I do want to acknowledge that, again, we all process grief and our emotions differently. And I understand that everyone is also on their own timing. If you are on this video, on this episode, then I trust that you're meant to hear this, whether it's going to trigger you or maybe just be a thought in your mind over the years until you really feel like it's time to actually process it. Maybe you're not ready to, but I trust that if you're listening to this, then it's meant for you. I just invite you to listen to this episode with an open heart and an open mind. If we zoom out from our earthly perspective and we look at things in a deeper way, maybe soul contracts, the design of our universe, our timelines, the fact that we go through such painful experiences sometimes in our life, but those are actually the moments that maybe triggered an awakening or triggered our biggest growth and expansion in our life. going through breakups. Okay, when I talk about breakups, whenever someone tells me about a breakup, I get so excited because I'm like, how exciting for you. Because I know that on the other side of that pain is going to be a huge transformation. It happens every time. Think of like the glow ups after a breakup. You not only exterior, you're at the gym, you're working out more, you're taking care of your aesthetics a little bit more, you care more about like how you're presenting yourself, but just internally, you're processing what you had just experienced and you want to up level your life because you're angry. Maybe that grief from that breakup, you go through your sadness and then it turns into anger and you're pissed. And from that anger, you're like, I'm going to do this now. I was never able to do this in the relationship. I'm going to do this now. Or, whatever your situation was in your relationship that might have been holding you back, you're now in a place where you're just going to go full throttle into that dream, your vision for yourself, what you now see for your new life. Because it's a rebirth. It's a rebirth after you go through something so painful like heartbreak. Now, relationships and the grief of losing someone that you love is completely different. It really is completely different. It's like a whole other thing. But it's still in the same sense, you can find a lot of beautiful transformation and growth, soul expansion through a loss of someone that you love. It's just dependent on you and if you're going to take that route. And it also takes time. Okay. I don't want to also like say, oh my God, yeah, this can happen for you overnight. Like your whole life is going to transform. And also just being very sensitive of the fact that like you are allowed to grieve this person and love this person and miss them. I know that a lot of guilt comes with, looking at this death as like something that happened for good, because at the end of the day, you wish that they were here. And obviously, yeah, if I got to choose, I would wish that my mom was here over having her have to pass in order for me to have this growth and expansion. Yeah, sure. I would have loved to go through everything that I went through with her here physically. But that just like for me was not my path. And sometimes we need these huge kicks in the butt to get us to where we're meant to be going. What we actually want for ourselves and our lives. Sometimes that means getting fired from your job because maybe you were never going to quit. And that job was exactly what was holding you back from your greatest potential, but you don't know it yet. You don't realize that you getting fired and maybe not having an income for a few months or whatever the hell horrible thing happened in your life is actually the thing that you needed the most, because you have a plan, you have a soul contract, you have free will, but you planned this out. You know that you're meant for something bigger. You know deep down that you have greater purpose in this lifetime. So we're not going to be playing small, and sometimes the universe has to kick you in the ass. So I believe that me and my mom made an agreement before this lifetime and we made a soul contract. I believe that we did this together, came up with a plan. She was like, case 6. So I'm going to die of cancer. So that's what happened. I'm going to die of cancer. It's going to be abrupt. It's going to shift literally everyone's lives. And it's going to be this horrible, horrible thing that's just going to blow up everyone's family. Cool. And you're all going to be left with all of these broken pieces. But with these broken pieces, you're actually going to find your power through it, because you're going to have to learn how to rebuild yourself. And through that brokenness, you're actually going to start healing things that were left behind that maybe wouldn't have been touched if things wouldn't have been broken. Fuck. Sorry, I'm like, I swear this whole change of scenery is like really allowing me to tap in even deeper. I believe that her greatest gift that she has given me has been her departure. Nuts, right? But I know that she's never left. She's always here. So it really isn't a departure. It's just a soul transition into another state. Right now we're here in the physical, which is it even physical? Or is it all an illusion in our mind? Okay, that's a whole other thing. But right now, in the reality that we're in, when someone passes, their soul now transitions and it goes onto the other side, into the different realm that we can't see with our eyes. But energetically, because energetics or energy never dies, it's all around. She's all around. She's here. The person that maybe had passed for you is here with you right now, listening to this episode with you. For me, and for many of you, because again, everyone goes through their own timelines. Mine was a very stretched out timeline to get to where I'm at today and to have this kind of mindset on my mom's death has taken me a long time. Because when my mom died, I was 7 years old. I was a kid. So I didn't know what was going on. I didn't understand when she was sick. Like, I get it, she was sick, but I didn't know what it meant. I didn't know what it meant when she had passed. Obviously, I saw the changes. I felt the changes, but I didn't know what was going on. I didn't know how to process anything. Obviously, as a 7-year-old, you don't have the tools at that point. And obviously that set me up with a lot of abandonment issues. But there was other things that were happening in my life at the same time. And before 7, those are your primitive years of where your subconscious mind is being built. So the things that happen before the age of 7 are so deeply important because it literally it impacts your life going forward. So right now you're living off of your subconscious mind that was literally formed in those years. Now, there's a way to shift all that and to change, which is great and amazing. But obviously I didn't know that up until maybe 3-4 years ago. So that happens to me when I'm 7 years old. No one really knows how to talk to a 7-year-old about this. So they don't really. And also, this is old programming. This is an old way of being, which is, we don't really talk about things, and maybe it's better not to talk about things because they don't want to, make anyone sad, right? It's like bottling up your emotions in order to, you think that you're keeping the peace, and you think that you're, as long as this is kind of the advice that was given for me, was as long as she's surrounded by love, she's going to be okay. Now, while there's so much truth to that, I had so much love in my life, so much love from so many families. I had a pretty big family. I had my Italian side, my Mexican side. I have also my sister, her family. Like, I was surrounded by so much love. And while that is so beautiful and I'm so insanely grateful for that, I don't want to say that it wasn't enough, but I had so much trauma that was stored in my body from that time that I didn't understand, obviously, and I didn't know how to process it, so it stayed with me. Also, during that time, I had a lot of changes, a lot of instability because of divorced parents, moving from home to home. There's a lot of changes in home also, like with my mom. She was always moving, different apartment, different home. I had another dad at one point, my dad dating, obviously. Like, there was, and I changed a billion schools. So there was a lot of instability. Now, that instability as a child, yeah, sure, I have so much love, but now that actually translated in the way that my relationship is with money. My relationship is with people, with love. It dictated my entire life. That was the foundation that I was brought into in this world. Now, this has nothing to do with my parents, my family, what they did, blah, 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 blah. This isn't like you did this, and you set up my life for this, because we were all responsible for learning what had happened to us. And then it's our responsibility to relearn with the tools that we have today. Because as we learn generation to generation, we're just learning as we go. And we now have better information, better ways of understanding how things in our childhood really, really affect us through our entire lives. I don't think that was really ever a thing. I don't think anyone knew that, realized that. And I think a lot of people now don't know that. So you learn as generations go by. I think that the only reason why I know it now is because I'm a very, I ask questions. I had my spiritual awakening also. And I just really, really got into the self-development world. But I don't know if I would have gotten into this world if I didn't have so much pain in my childhood. Because why would I even care? I'd be kind of like cruising a little bit, right? See, that is literally what grief does to you. It grief, loss, breakup, whatever, it allows you to actually transform and find better for yourself and for your entire lineage. Like, that's what this has done. This isn't just, oh my God, this broke up our whole family, da da da. It's like, no, this was the catalyst that actually allowed healing to happen. Because my lineage, I'm only speaking from mine. My lineage, I'm able to help other people, whether that's, you guys, family, kids, whatever. I'm able to do that because of the pain that I had gone through. And I've always thought about that. Like, if I ever go through something that's painful, like, I'm grateful that I went through it so that I could learn the lessons, and then I can then pass it down and like teach and help someone else. That's the whole point. We're all here to help each other grow and evolve. If nothing bad, I don't want to say, sorry, not bad, because nothing is actually bad. It's all about your perspective on it. There's a lot of like really horrible things that happen on this planet. I'm like, wait. Sorry, let's stay on track. These things that happen are the beautiful things that actually help moving forward in our lives, okay? Once I was in my 20s, that's when I started to feel things a little bit more. Obviously, throughout, like, as a kid, I knew that my mom had gone and I missed her and I wished that I had her. But then in my 20s, I really got to like feel it more because I never felt it before. I never cried. As a kid, like, about my mom, I never cried. I was very emotionless, and I really do feel like when I got in my first relationship, that's what actually unblocked me when it comes to my emotions. I felt like I was way more connected to my heart when I got into my first relationship. So I was able to start the processing, but I was in the victim mentality. I was very much like, why did this happen to me? Because I didn't understand. Why did this have to happen to me? Like, why me? Why can't I have my mom here? She was such a good person. Like, why did she have to leave? I don't understand it. I was this broken girl because of something that happened to me. I eventually, as I got older in my 20s, I started to celebrate her more, think about her more. I never even like knew the month that she died. I never knew her birthday. I eventually started to celebrate her birthday, and I started writing her letters, which is just so funny. Also, reading the letter now, like who I am now and how I view everything, is just like crazy reading it, because yeah, I was sad girl. I didn't understand anything. But that was exactly the journey that I needed to be on. When I had my spiritual awakening, that's when shit really shifted for me. That's when I started to understand a little bit more of the afterlife and what actually happened and why it could potentially have happened for me. Maybe I didn't understand it fully, but I could kind of put it to rest in a way. I could really just let the victim mentality at least go. I started to understand that death isn't the end, it's just a continuation in a different form. So let's just talk a little bit about the afterlife. I'm not going to be talking about it through a religious lens. I'm strictly talking about energetics, consciousness, and frequency. Now, this is both ancient and modern quantum physics understanding and techniques. Teaching, sorry, not techniques. The soul transitions. The soul either goes back to source, back to love, back home. It reincarnates, or it stays down here as a guide to help us on earth go through our lives. Or they do all three, because technically everything is happening all at once. So we're kind of just doing all of them. I really don't know. We don't have all the answers. Something like that, though. When you lose someone that you love, especially so young, the part of you that relates to safety, love, and identity gets wired differently in your brain. So for a long time, I had wounds that told me I was alone. Everything always left me. Good things don't last. Those woundings were really with everything, with money, everything leaving me, with relationships, everyone leaving me. And that was the time when then I had to start to reprogram, okay, if this was meant to happen because I believe that everyone is meant to die when they're meant to die, we all die. Like, sorry guys, we literally all die. That's the thing. We all die, but it's like one of the hardest things that we can like wrap our mind around. Even though I can talk about this in this kind of way about my mom, like thinking about anyone that I love now and them transitioning, I don't know literally what I'm going to do. I don't know what I'm going to, I don't even want to think about it because that's like so scary to think about. So it's like, as much as you can understand this, doesn't mean that it's not painful. Doesn't mean that you're going to like bypass the pain. That is a part of the experience. But at the same time, you can still go through that pain and still at the same time understand that there's greater purpose and reasons, even if you don't understand them. So that's kind of like what I was going through, is I started to like, okay, I'm starting to understand that this actually had to happen. It's going to happen one way or another at some point, but maybe there's greater reason for why this had to happen the way that it did. What does it look like now to turn grief into gratitude? It starts first by shifting from victim mode to your power and maybe asking yourself, what is this pain potentially teaching me? What can I actually learn from this? What can I learn from them? Because when someone passes, you really start to look at them differently. You can actually sit and appreciate them for, what they brought to the world, but also everyone around you. You can really appreciate the love that you have. And the pain that you feel also, like how deeply you feel, the only reason why you feel it so deeply is because of how much love was there. If you don't care about someone dying, you didn't care about them. I mean, as an empath, you literally will care about anyone that dies, but especially someone that you like really, really, really has been a huge pillar in your life. It's going to hurt. So asking yourself the question, like, what lessons are embedded in this experience? What can I gain from this? Can I gain anything from this? This might take a while, obviously. Go through your pain, go through your victim. You need to be in that. You have to process in a certain way. Don't bypass that. When you're ready to start asking yourself these deeper questions, do it. For me, it was the deep remembrance of that love that I am, that I'm worthy of. Not because someone stays, but because like that's who I am. I am love. Because I attached myself to these things that would leave me, and like that was representative of my worth. which is entirely false. I believe that the abandonment that I felt, because it was never about me being unworthy, it was all orchestrated for my soul growth. And then I started to realize that as much as I want to point my finger out at, I'm this way because my mom had died, I'm this way because of the things that happened in my childhood. But sure, yeah, like it did, shift and, make these pathways in my brain to be the way that they are. And that's why I'm attracting certain experiences. But as an adult, I am the one that is creating this life for myself. It's me. I'm the one that's abandoning myself. These things aren't abandoning me. I'm abandoning myself. I'm attracting these experiences that are abandoning me because they're reflecting the way that I abandon myself. I abandon myself in relationships when someone is treating me like absolute garbage and I continue to stay and I continue to try to prove myself and get them to see me and get them to treat me well. Why am I staying in that? Why am I staying around? I'm abandoning myself. Would I want someone that I love, like my sister? Would I ever want my sister to be in a relationship where a man treats me the way that he was treating me? Never. I'd be like, get the fuck up and leave. Pack your bags, leave. Stop messaging him. Stop calling him. He's telling you how much he hates you. He hates you. Hello, wake up. Sorry. But I was abandoning myself in that way, but also with money, with my career. I didn't want to go after the things that were actually going to bring me success and bring me all this joy and purpose in my life. I was abandoning myself. I was scared and I didn't want to do any of that. I was like, I don't know. I just will sit here and, I'm just going to find a rich man and he's going to provide everything for me. And that's my answer. I don't want to do anything. I didn't want to do anything because I was scared. I was scared of things leaving me. But in that, I'm abandoning myself because I'm not living up to my highest potential. I was abandoning myself in the way that I treated my body, the foods that I ate, my lifestyle, me not getting up in the morning and making my bed, me not going outside and going for a walk because that I know that would feel good to my body, but I'd rather rot in my bed. I'm abandoning myself. I had to learn how to remother myself. I had to be the one. And while I wish this whole time, I'd wished that my mom was here to do that for me, the power was in me learning how to do it myself. That's the power. I had to relearn, but it's like remembering that the whole time, the entire time that I treated myself that way and I abandoned myself, I was always worthy and I always had this power. It was always me. I just forgot. And I looked at her as she was going to have to be the one to save me. But because she wasn't here, that's it. My life is just done. But that could also relate to relationships. If they break up with you, that's it. You're done. That's it. What's life without them? What's life without being in a relationship? Nothing. Girl, it's you. You are the only thing that matters. You. These experiences, yes, are heavy, and these experiences are everything that make your life. But you're the one that is going through all of these things, and you're going to be the one that's going to be with you throughout this entire journey and to the end. Because if you're attaching yourself to people, relationships, money, any physical things, your home, as much as you value them and they mean so much to you, they can't be tied to your worthiness. They can't be tied to your identity in that kind of way. Because if you don't have it, what does that mean about you? You know? Nothing is ever a loss, though. That's the illusion. The illusion is that nothing is ever a loss. These are all just perspective shifts, because I didn't lose my mom. I've never lost her. It transitioned into a different way. This is just a different way. And the things that I gained from this different way, the person I am today, the remembrance. I don't know if I would have ever become the version I am today if it wasn't for that. Now, oh my God, that is so deep. I'm like literally emotional. Whew. Okay. I really want to touch on this new realization that I'm having. When I had gone through all of that and I went through my healing and I truly healed my mom's death and I had this different perspective shift, I let it go. And I let it go in a way that at the end of the day, I didn't really know her that well. I was 7 years old. This was like almost 25 years ago. So once I healed it and I let that go, I didn't feel like I had this missing piece, blah, blah, blah. I could then focus on myself. I could focus on my life, what I wanted for myself. And I let go of the pain and the story. And I feel like maybe when I thought about her, I related her to this big, painful story. Even if I talk about it with other people, if I say, oh, my mom died at 7, what kind of reactions are you going to get? Oh, I'm so sorry. Oh my God, that's so, sad that happened to you. Death is like only looked at as this like sad, sad thing. I appreciate that. But then I'm like looking at my mom as like this sad, painful thing that happened in my life. And like, why? At that point, I'm so tired. I don't want to think about my mom and be sad. Like, I'm over it. I don't care anymore. I can appreciate what she did for me, and now I can focus on my life. Now I can grow and be the butterfly that I know that I'm always meant to become. And my life started shifting. My career started shifting. It still is. I'm like really, really, I'm in the year of becoming now, okay? Things are really starting to like really lock into place even more than they ever have. But because I kind of let go of her, I kind of I didn't have any photos of her in my condo. I like just little things like that. Like I really just like took her out of my life in a way. So recently I started talking to her a lot more. So when I pray, I just like talk out loud. I talk directly to her. I started doing that a little bit more. I started asking her questions, asking her for things as well. So there was that. Then randomly in my closet, I found a photo of my mom that my aunt had given to me when I was younger for me to like always remember her. And I had this little cute little photo. I kind of want to show you, but it's over there. I'll show you at the end. I'm like staring at her. I'm like literally staring at her as I talk. So I put her here in my living room. Oh, that is so beautiful also, because now I've transitioned into my living room to do these episodes and like I'm looking directly at her. That is so beautiful. Oh, that is so beautiful. Okay. So she's now in my living room. I just brought her out. I was like, you know what? Why not? Like, why not just put her there? Like, I think it's like a really nice photo. Also, she's so beautiful. Oh my God. She's so beautiful. This is also like, there was no retouch and stuff back then. Like, what do you mean that you're that beautiful? Okay. Anyways, maybe I'm biased because she's a part of me. She looks like me. But anyways, so I have her out there, whatever. My friend comes over. I'm not home. I want her to check on Chulo, and she sees the photo. She's texting me, is this your mom? And she's like, felt this like deep feeling that she was here. She was like texting me being like, I feel her presence. She's so, and like sending me messages. She's like, she's so happy that she's here with you. She's so happy living with you, da da da. And when I read it, I kind of was like, yes, that was like nice to hear, but I'm like, oh, like that's so true. Like totally. Like, my mom totally does live here. Cause like, sure, I feel it. I'm like, yeah, like obviously she's here with me. Cause that's my understanding. Is that like, yeah, duh. Like, obviously my mom's here chilling with me. Like, she's my homie. But I just kind of brush it off. Like, it wasn't like that deep for me. My right eye explodes. So my right eye just like was itchy. It was highly irritated because of my contact, and it was so bad. Like, I literally had to put like an eye mask all day on it to keep my eye closed. Very sensitive to light. It was just like going insane. And I know that things happen for every single thing happens for a reason. Any sickness, any illness, it's all connected to your body, which is connected to your emotional system as well. So I'm like, let me just go to ChatGPT and see. Let me just see what this potentially could be. So I ask, I'm like, in what way could this be like attached to something going on internally? And it lists me a bunch of things. It's like, oh yes, this makes sense. It was like, girl. And then in one of the parts, it said third eye activation. And I'm like, wait, third eye. I've always known that, well, always, since I've been going along this journey, I have seen before that like my chart, everything in my chart kind of leads to like spiritual gifts. And like I have the potential for that. So like I've always thought about that, and I'm like, well, I just don't feel like I don't have like clairvoyance abilities. Like, I don't know. I just like, and so as I've gone along this journey, especially more recently, I question. I'm like, I wonder if something is going to start coming through, because I don't feel like I am that way. I've like never had those abilities, but definitely 1,000,000%. I know that things have been shifting. Like my intuition, I know things have been shifting. And so when I had this like ping on ChatGPT, I was like, okay, third eye kind of resonates a little bit. So let's talk a little bit deeper about this. I bring that up with ChatGPT, and then they send me a list of things that potentially I could experience if I'm going through a third eye activation. So it lists a bunch of things. And one of the things that it listed at the very end of the list, it said mom dreams. And then literally I was floored. Okay? Because I remembered, because you know when like you forget your dreams? Guys, this is so crazy. Okay. My mom had passed away when I was 7 years old. Since then, I've had one dream of my mom. Like, be so for real. One dream? When I saw that thing on ChatGPT, I remembered 2 days prior to this happening, to me talking to ChatGPT. 2 days before, I had a dream about my mom. And it clicked. It clicked in my brain. I was like, oh, wait, I had a dream about her. And then I realized, like, I forgot that was like the second dream I've ever had about my mom. And let me tell you about the dream. I'm not going to go into like too much detail, but like basically in my dream, I saw her, and I was in my child body. So it was me, but I was back in the day. So when she was like still alive. And when I saw her, I remember freaking the fuck out. You guys, I haven't seen my mom in 25 years in the physical and in dream. I just haven't seen her at all. You know, when you're in dream, it feels like real life. And I saw her and I was like freaking the fuck out, but I had to be calm because I was like child me. So like I had to be calm. I had to be like cool, you know, everyone had to know that I was still a kid. Right. And I was like looking at her, and my sister's going to hate this, but as soon as I saw her, I was like, she looks just like my sister. I was like, whoa. And she was walking towards me being so cool. She went directly to me to give me a hug, but she was like still like kind of talking to people in the surroundings because we were at like an event, a family event or something. And she came directly to me. She gave me a hug and like asked me how I was. And I was just like, he. Like I was being a kid. I don't know. I feel like I was like quiet because I was just like freaking out on the inside. But as soon as I realized that I don't think I knew it was a dream, but I knew it wasn't real life because hello, it was my mother. But as soon as I realized, the dream faded, obviously, as it always does when you realize it's like a dream or whatever. And yeah, that my mom had finally visited me. After all these years, finally visited me. And it's not that she had never tried to visit me and she like didn't care to like hang out with me. It was, I'm now in a time where I'm able to receive her. My channels are so much more clear, that I'm so much more connected to my higher self, to source, to my intuition, to my mom. And she was able to come through. Huh. Oh my God. And so many things also came up, like with that dream of just knowing I'm supported, knowing that she's always choosing me. She went directly to me in the dream, you know? Yeah, so that was like, and then through that dream and through this like realization, I felt so much more connected to her. Like when I started talking about this with ChatGPT, it's like something just like hit my brain differently. And I started to view my mom's death and everything that had happened in a different way. Now I feel so connected with her, not in the way that this is my mom, not in a way that it's like, oh, my mom that died. No, 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 no. This isn't my mom that died. This is another soul that I'm so deeply connected to. We spend lifetimes and lifetimes, infinite lifetimes together. That's my girl. Not even my girl, because souls have no gender. This is my soul, like, partner, my soul sister, but not sister. Those are all titles, you know? It's just this being. It's this being that I'm so deeply connected to, that maybe sure in this lifetime she was my mom, but maybe in past lifetimes we were sisters. Maybe in past lives we were brothers. Maybe in past lives we were best friends. Like maybe we were enemies in another life, in order to teach us lessons and have our souls go through growth. It's all the deeper reasonings for everything is love. And what she did for me was love. And I understand now that because we made this pact, because we made this soul agreement that she had to pass during that time, we did this together. She didn't just do it for me. It's like we're holding hands throughout my life now, and she's guiding me through my life and doing the things that she wasn't able to do in her lifetime. So looking back at her life, if we're talking about love, I can see that the relationships that she has, was she ever choosing herself? Or did she just want to be loved and feel love? Which so many of us, obviously, that's what we obviously want. That's the path that I was going on. All I wanted was love. And I was abandoning myself because all I wanted was love. I am breaking these generational curses where I am, as much as I hated it, as much as I hated the journey of being alone, I'm the first one to do this on my own, to choose myself, to do exactly what Rachel wants, without the opinions of a father, of a partner. I'm doing what I want to do, even if it doesn't make sense to other people. I'm choosing myself before I have children. I might not even have kids. I'm choosing me. Me. And that is what is breaking this generational curse, because, you know, as women, our lives are not our own. We're owned by our fathers, and then we get owned by our partners, potentially because we fall into this illusion and this fantasy of what it means to be in a relationship. And we just give ourselves away because we have to be a wife and we have to be a mother. We're these titles instead of maybe there's something else. And I'm not saying that those things are not beautiful, and beautiful gifts and beautiful things that people can experience. Yes. But when I think that what I want, my own journey, what I want is I want to be able to choose to be a wife and choose to be a mother from an empowered place where I'm so deeply connected to myself and my purpose and what I know that I want, that I can choose from that place, not choose from a place of lack. I'm not choosing the easy route and the easy partner and settling. I'm not settling. Fuck that. I'm not settling in any way. I want it all because I know that I'm worthy of it all. Period. And I wouldn't have known this. I wouldn't have come to this truth if it wasn't for that painful experience that I had gone through in my life. Instead of even looking at it in a way that I'm so grateful that she died. While I do believe that that's true, I'm so grateful for what she has taught me. It's more about making what had happened. Do you think that she died for me to have a mediocre and sad life? How would that even make her feel? Right? How would the person that you love that passed away, how would it make them feel to know that you're now withering away and your life is broken? You think that they're going to be like happy about that? Great. Great. I'm so happy that I now ruined everyone's life. Yes, they know that how much you love them, but the most loving thing that you can do for them is elevate and evolve and go after your soul, what your soul mission is here. Do the things that light you up, like doing the things that bring you love. That's them living through you. I'm doing this for us. I'm making sure that I'm using the experience that happened to me into abundance in all things that are beautiful. Abundance in love, abundance in money, abundance in relationships, in health, in whatever all the ways are to be abundant. That's literally what this podcast is about. It's about becoming rich in all areas of your life. This isn't about being rich financially, just that. This is about becoming rich in all areas of your life. And that's what I want for you. That's what I want you to take away from this. How can you use these painful experiences and transmute them and transform your life? Again, I want you to know, if you're going through grief, if you have gone through it, know that your healing isn't linear. Your grief is sacred. And know that there will be a moment that you'll know that the person that you lost was never lost. They're not in the past. They're right here. In every decision, every time you choose yourself, every time you choose to love yourself, every cycle you break, every risk you take, they're living through you. This path is not easy, and my heart goes out to anyone that is experiencing this. I love you so much. Thank you so much for being here, listening to this episode. Comment, like, subscribe, rate, all the things. If you love this episode, message me if this resonated with you. And I'll talk to you guys in the next episode. I love you guys so much. Bye.